Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of the Superman and Lois Retrospective. Of course, I'm Jake. That over there is Darren, and that goofball down there is Lance. This is episode 6, Broken Trust. Although, fun fact, it was originally titled, much like the Nirvana song, Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Skibbity boop bop 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 da bop ba da wow.
See, Lance, only Darren can do that thing. You
Yeah,
cannot copy whatever he
yeah.
did that last week.
I'm
It's
sorry.
just, it's
I
I'm sorry.
it is non-replicable. You just can't do
I
it.
can.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
never doing that shit again.
I'm sorry. Do you guys like my haircut?
Ooh, I do.
Ooh,
It's
there
very
you go.
nice.
Very, very nice.
Thanks.
Um, hey, you know what? You probably responded to haircuts a lot better than Jordan did in this show. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's for later. For this week's episode, me and Lance, like we both just said this right before the recording started. This is one of our favorites. I think it was for you as well, Darren. Um, unless I'm
it's
wrong on that,
it's
which I
really
totally
good. It's really good. I'll wait to say if it's one of my favorites until we finish our run of the show. But it's
fair
a
enough.
very very good
Well,
episode.
of this season, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's up there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. This is literally like one of my favorite episodes from this season. Like it has some of the best paralleling like moments of each other. If I could say it that way, like it's
No,
so
it makes
much like
sense.
so much comparing and contrast between scenes. I love it.
Yeah, and the way that you do that with characters, showing how Jordan reacts in a moment versus how Clark does, and really that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the episode of is Jordan thinking that he's he's so much more different than Clark, but they have a lot of similarities at the end of the day. And Clark even says that you try to make a big point of saying you're different than me, but you're not.
Yeah.
Um, and you know just getting to again to use this meat and potatoes analogy, it gets towards like my favorite parts of the episode. See, ever since Darren did it in that one episode, now I can't not do it.
Well, try chicken and waffles. Yeah, chicken and waffles.
That's a good combo too.
Yeah.
But it this episode shows how Jordan, obviously being a teenager with these powers, how he often lets his emotions get the better of him, and he will uh, make impulsive decisions, shall we say. He'll do things that he regrets. I don't know what these two are laughing at.
Lance knows all about impulsive decisions.
Yes, he does. He often lets his intrusive thoughts win. But Jordan, he lets his emotions get the better of him. He doesn't think before he acts,
Not at all.
and
Not at
he
all.
ends up taking out his anger on bullies to the point where he breaks John's arm by accident.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you see that immediately paralleled, like it's literally jump cutting back and forth, where Clark gets shot by kryptonite bullets protecting
Yeah.
Tag, and despite how imposing and terrifying he looks in that scene,
Yeah.
when he's looking at them with heat visioned eyes, telling them to stand down,
Yeah.
he still restrains himself. He still controls himself. And that's one of my favorite things that they do with Superman over the course of these 4 seasons, with some notable exceptions that we'll get
Yeah.
to. But he always controls his powers, controls his temper, because like the general public would be a lot more afraid of what he could do than he
Mhm.
would. And they even say that in the episode. So he has to have the trust of the people he's saving.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that scene is very fascinating. I feel like it's almost probably one of the most shared like images of the show that's come out outside of maybe that like Fletcher shoot, which is obviously shared so much. But like I think that scene kind of bred to a lot of like, oh, this is what Superman is like propaganda when trying to push that agenda on, where it's like,
The
oh,
talk between them, you said that scene,
no, just the like
or the
shooting
cuts?
scene when like Clark his laser vision's coming out and
Oh,
he's about
yeah.
to get like that stuff, and people are like, oh yeah, Superman isn't all fun and goofy, he's angry
Right.
and mad, and it's like if you watch the episode, the point is that Clark doesn't like doing that. Like the point is that was the wrong move, and like that is not what he wants to represent. But
Right.
he is still human, and that side comes out, and it's a teaching moment for him to his sons to be like, hey, don't do that. That is not what you're
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, and I just love that speech that he gives to Jordan near the end. It's probably my favorite part of the episode,
Mhm.
where he says, like every time I use my powers all this time later, that trust I have in these people is tested every time, just today.
Yeah,
And
so good.
he's in that point where he's saying, the thing about trust, which is literally the name of one of the tracks that plays during this scene, says once you break trust, takes a lot longer to heal than a wrist. And we see that over the course of the show because John is not quick to forgive him.
No. And one thing that I enjoyed in particular with that scene is the fact that John is trying to be the voice of reason, but also in that in the initial moment of them being in trouble for breaking John's arm and leaving the hotel room and not listening.
Mm-hmm.
John did not let Clark or Lois get a word in edgewise, like at all. Like he let Jordan have it.
Yeah,
and it kind of it's funny to me because when you think back on when John basically snitched on Jordan initially and how he was sitting there like it's two sides of the same coin. Like I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna hold you accountable in both instances. Both times you did something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I got you in trouble, but at the same time, you literally just hurt me. You could have ripped my arm off. Like you could have killed me.
He could have
seriously hurt me. Like, and I love,
yeah,
I love their chemistry, and I'm gonna say it every week.
Innocent.
I love their relationship as twin brothers. Like,
they
you
feel
can
like real
you can
brothers.
feel the chemistry. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. This was my first and this is not a bad thing at all. Like it's part of the story, obviously. But like this is the first time I do remember being like annoyed at Jordan as a character and being like, "You fucking idiot! If this isn't under control, you could have murdered literally dozens, if not, hundreds of people during this incident." Like he was plain and simple stupid this episode. Like what he did, and arguably even Jonathan letting him play knowing that something's happening was stupid. Now
they put themselves in the situation that led to the bad moment later, which again, stupid.
Sure. Which again, still is like it's not a complaint because it's literally the point. He is stupid. Like there's that like narrative of Clark and Lois where it's like he is not ready for this. It's like I know, but he has to be. You know what I mean? So it's like the point is that no, he is immature and he is clumsy and he doesn't think things through and he thinks with and that's what a teenager does. They will purposely put themselves and sometimes others in danger because in the moment that seems like what's right for them. And it's probably best for his arc overall to see how he grows over the course of more so just that final season, to be honest with you, but like how he evolves is part of the journey, I'd say.
Yeah, and I love how and this show does this mainly this season and season 2, and like we know why it doesn't happen in the later seasons, but how it uses like all the football scenes to teach them certain lessons, and you have the moments where Jordan's being a little cocky, he's being a bit of a show off. Clark can tell right away that that's not a normal push, and he knows what's going on in Jordan's mind. And just that bit where he beckons him over, and Jordan's like, "I'm just making a block," and Clark goes, "That's not what I mean, and you know it."
I love that. I love that.
That's him being a dad, but also like granted, whenever he sees those kids just dogpiling Jordan in the football game, would he be upset that he lied about his powers? Sure. But in that moment, Jordan's literally on the ground shaking, saying, "I can't hold this in," because he's about to release heat vision again. And Clark's cool. "Let it out right here."
Yeah.
My God, that was just so well written. And you can even see, even though Clark is Superman,
it hurts.
Because this is a guy who's half as strong as he is, and it would hurt getting that right into your bare hand.
Yeah. And just saying that, where's all the people who are like, "Oh my God, all he did was get beat up by himself"?
Why is he Superman screaming like that?
Yeah. Where are those people? Did you watch this show? Which proves Kryptonians can hurt other Kryptonians. But I'll leave that there. I don't want those people jumping into this comment section. I'll leave that there.
I think people assume Superman doesn't feel pain. It's like, no, he just has a higher pain tolerance, right?
Right.
Like, you stab him, he might still feel pain. It's just like, it's not really going to affect him, or it's not going to hurt
but he
as
feels
much.
It most in here.
Right, no, for sure. Yeah, and it's like, if a train is heading towards another train, it's like, well, yeah, they're going to both get hurt because they're at that same strength level. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like Ultraman and Superman movie, or this here, it's like, yeah, it is a fellow Kryptonian. That's allowed to happen. He's got to
Right.
feel it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
Clark's whole thing to where I love how the drama gets, it builds even more in when they're in the hotel. And Clark, he goes into that whole thing of, you made a big point of saying you're better than me, but you're not. Like, has this happened before? And then John, kind of for the betterment of the situation, goes, well, now that you mention it, it's not the first time.
Yeah.
And you can tell Jordan's like, damn it, why are you going to say this? But it's like, it's the right thing to do
Right.
because Clark should know this is happening.
And it's still a big deal because, like, up until this point, if I'm not mistaken, they were like, it's just a fluke, I don't really have powers, it's just a little whatever. And
Yeah,
like,
because he hadn't been able to do it again.
yeah, and like he's having super hearing, which I know he doesn't fully know what it is yet, but like you would think if there was any chance of you having abilities, I'd be like, Dad, I do have them. Dad, go test me again. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would do. I'd be like,
yeah,
dude, I have powers. Come on,
Yeah, and we
I
see
agree.
that later.
He's hiding stuff, and I never understood, why are you hiding this stuff? I'd be giddy as hell. Like,
well, that's kind of a point to where that's an initial character flaw, but you see in later episodes that when new parts of his powers develop, he doesn't hide them. He calls Clark immediately. So
that is true.
The fact that he does that first and that he doesn't keep doing that's character growth, which I appreciate about this show.
Which, like, I do really like the aspect of it where it's like, okay, at his old school, he was quite literally a nobody. He was bullied. He was pushed around. And he finally has the opportunity to push those people back around.
Yeah,
he
feels like he belongs.
Finally proving himself to those people who pushed him around all those. Like, I love that, and I can understand the aspect of being like, Dad, I can't miss this. If I do this, they're going to, it's going to confirm their beliefs about me all these years. I can't, sit this one out. And, nor would the coach let him. I don't think. That's great.
And we probably wouldn't care. At that point, like with where like we are, we probably wouldn't care about what somebody says about us like that now. It'd be like, oh, whatever, and then just brush it off.
Right.
But like, going back to teenage life, that would have been a big deal to us, like it's a big deal to these guys.
Yeah, no, and especially with someone with like social anxiety and someone who, has been in therapy and has had all these various issues, and he's never had a chance to really prove himself and to show that he's grown and evolved, and it's like, he also has a girl potentially coming. He wants to show her, how cool he is.
He got diagnosed with like PTSD, wasn't it?
PTSD, anxiety order.
Yeah, that's another deal that just
he had an order of anxiety disorder.
Yeah,
he ordered some disorder. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But no, I just love that part of this episode so much. That's definitely my favorite part of it. But this episode still has other things that it does really well. The whole story with Lois and the person that we'll soon discover the true identity of. Man, next week. And you can really tell where that's building up to.
Wait, that's next week's episode?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, baby.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I love where that's going. Ready. And even the episode, like, for those of us who know who Lois Lane and Superman are, just that scene where, Lar is saying, should we get rid of her? And then Edge goes, well, what can she do? It's like, well, on her own, not a lot, but, one click of a button and she's pretty well armed.
Leslie Lar revealing like that she has powers was like one of the big turning points of the season, revealing that she's not, that she's not just this ordinary, for lack of better words, annoying bitch. I don't know.
Henchwoman? Yeah.
Yeah, like she's not this ordinary henchwoman.
Yeah.
She is, and I've always wondered, did she just call herself Leslie Lar because that's the Kryptonian that's in that body?
Yeah, like,
or is she actually Les Lar? Like, or is that like actually her? Like,
I think it's supposed to be like an amalgamation of characters, kind of like what they do with like Jordan here, how he's kind of an amalgamation, or how
Right.
they split Superboy into two characters and made John eventually a lot more like John Kent, and then especially like the further and further you get throughout the show, even though it's a different origin, Jordan clearly displays more mannerisms that you would see in somebody like Connor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but I still think it's cool that he's technically the new Jor-El. Like I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's
I
cool.
like that.
And just that bit towards the, I know we're like we're jumping around a little bit, but at the very end of the episode, whenever the hearing kicks in and he collapses on the porch, God, that shot where Clark just takes him and they flies up into the sky. I love
Yeah.
that closing shot so much. This show,
Yeah.
just I remember watching, especially this first season, week to week. It was like you were watching high budget movies.
You mean month to month?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a big break at this point in the season.
Yeah,
Actually.
like this the
Yeah.
last episode we got until like May.
Yeah, there was like
Yeah,
two.
true.
Actually, no, I think this was the return episode. This was after the
Was it?
2 month break. I think so.
Yeah, because they did a thing where it was like they started like the first half or like the first batch. Then Supergirl ran a whole like 22 episodes. No, they ran the
No.
first like 10. Then Supergirl went on break. Then Superman came back,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Supergirl came back in the fall when Superman started. It was like
Right, it was so
holy
weird.
shit.
But
It was COVID, and she was pregnant, and it was like
They were
oh
trying to
God.
make us think that they're on the same earth.
right,
But
but
it
then
only
you sh-
confused us more because it's like,
then-
dog,
then
the
you-
fortress
then you-
was different.
they show us two different fortresses exactly.
That would have been such a cool double feature too if they
Yeah.
were like, I don't know, Super Mondays. It's Supergirl at 8 and Superman and Lois at 9. That would have been awesome as
yeah,
hell.
that would have
Yeah.
been something.
Although you would have seen the quality difference between the two.
Wildly, yes.
Huge difference. Huge
But
difference.
and like it's funny that you bring that up on the topic of like quality difference. Watching those episodes in that time, looking as gorgeous as they did for a TV show,
Mhm.
Well,
especially in
thank
that
you. Oh, you weren't
especially
talking
in that
about me.
first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got your redeeming qualities.
Thanks.
But it's in contrast when you look at that, and then the current episodes of The Flash that were airing the same night.
The same night.
It
yeah.
was a night and day difference.
I
like-
remember because it was like season 7.
It was like the end of season 7. Yeah,
Yeah, it was season 7 of Superman and Lois season 1, which are like
one
arguably one of the best paired with
Yeah.
one of the worst. And it's like
right.
you're like, oh,
Like,
man,
you go from something that looks like late 90s, early 2000s Power Rangers show, and not in the good way, versus
Yeah.
high budget movie in the year in
Yeah.
like the early 2020s. It's a night and day difference. But
That's crazy
like,
that this was in the early 2020s though. Like this was in 2021.
21.
yeah,
Yeah.
21.
That's crazy.
I
We're
remember
going into
in
2026,
COVID,
bro.
I remember 2020 getting like the casting calls and like all the,
Yup.
they were setting it up. And,
Everybody thought they were doing Super Sons, but not the twins. Like everybody
No.
thought they were doing like Jonathan, Kent, and Damien. It's like no.
those Arrowverse stuff were like keeping me through COVID. It's just like he'll come back someday, and just any info we could get during that era was like anything. It was like
We were getting crumbs. This is
it
around
was like
the
a
time
year and a
when-
half off. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man.
And
This was around the time they were talking
unfortunately,
about Wonder Girl, the TV show, and all of
Green Arrow
that.
and the
Painkiller
Canaries,
and-
yeah.
Ralph getting fired.
and then Ruby Rose leaving. It's like
yeah, that was an interesting era. Yeah.
it was
Announcing Javicia on a random Monday. I
Supergirl
remember
Black
that like it
Lightning
was
ending.
yesterday.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bro,
and
Black
people-
Lightning, we can do a whole
Yeah,
we can
that's
do a
its
whole
own
video
video.
on that. Like,
We'll
But,
get.
Yeah,
we'll
we will
to
get
it.
there eventually. I'm not going to give a timetable on that.
the downfall of that
We're-
once great show. That final season was ass.
Were we missing other parts of this episode? I think we hit like
I
most of the
wanna
stuff.
I want to touch on bad phrase words. I would like to briefly grasp. Jesus, what am I doing?
That's even
Highlight.
worse.
I would like to highlight. I am getting like General Lane did some really shady, shitty shit.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
you sent the DOD with live rounds and kryptonite. You had no plans in capturing Tag. You were going to take him out. You were going to take him out. And the fact that Clark, and I felt so bad for Clark when he had to sit there and say, You sent them with live rounds and kryptonite,
That
which lets
line,
me know where we
yeah.
stand. I
Yeah,
said,
Yeah.
that line that he
"Ooh."
follows, Sam's like, it's always been my job to protect the people of America, and Clark's like, now I know. Damn, that just
Yeah.
hits. That
And
hits
then he just took
really
off after.
hard.
He's like Superman. No, he's gone already, bro.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
wasn't it at that same moment where John was hurt?
Yeah, but I honestly think that Superman would have still taken off. Like
Probably.
he's just had it. Like honestly,
Yeah.
dealing with and this is like coming from this because I was wondering. I'm like, okay, you're gonna make General Lane a main character, and all my knowledge of General Lane and any incarnation. Well, I can't talk in any incarnation.
spell.
Oh, in any incarnation, he's always the antagonistic force. Like you think about
Right.
General Lane on Supergirl was a complete asshole.
Oh,
Smallville,
it was
I
just
hated that
ugly.
guy. Like we watched this version grow to be something more, grow to respect Superman
Yeah.
as not just the savior of the world, but that's my son-in-law. That's my son.
and he was literally the heart of the show later.
Yep. So like
Yep.
you can I love the development that we're getting, but like I could see why he's not close
Yeah.
with his daughters. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
But I do like how in the next few episodes that kind of flips, and you start
Mhm.
to see things more from his perspective.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
Whenever he and Lois have that one back and forth that we'll get to, that's one of my favorite exchanges in the season.
It's such good like foreshadowing and setting up for the season arcs where it's like, okay, you literally have someone from spoilers, I guess, if there's anyone watching who's watching week to week with us, spoilers.
If nobody's ever seen this show,
if anyone's watching it for the first time with us, spoilers for the season, we're literally getting a guy from another reality whose their world was killed by Superman, and then we have an entire army of evil Kryptonians coming, and it's like, Sam's not wrong. Like, he's not wrong to keep it. Is he wrong for going after a child with kryptonite?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's not the greatest move. But in theory, he is not wrong about keeping it around and having it just in case. So that's interesting as well.
And on the human sides of this too, this is really where you see kind of that blossoming, trust and connection between Lois and Lana, where that really starts to form.
Yep.
And I really loved that part of it too. And you can see, Kyle is still, being a generic asshole. He's like, he's doing more for this town than you ever did.
Yeah.
And at that point, he was very much intended to be that way at first.
Mhm.
Hate that guy. I hated that guy.
But we'll get there. But I love that whole connection between her and Lana because they even say at a later point in the show they didn't have to be friends, but they both want the best thing for their city. They have that connection to Clark, and even Lois, where she's like, "Well, you guys know that I know Superman," and it's kind of funny looking back where Lana goes, "Does Clark know about this?" Just that kind of makes me smile a little bit looking back. But you can tell Lana's thinking for the betterment of the town and
family,
of her family, because she has her own family in Smallville that she's trying to protect.
Yeah,
and I will say, until they have that shot where I think it's Kyle who opens the door to Sarah's room. I'll be honest, I completely forgot Sarah was kidnapped until he opened the door. I was like, oh yeah, that's totally a thing.
Yeah, I really I didn't enjoy the Kyle stuff this week, but I do love the writing choices they choose to do for him this season and this episode in particular.
Yeah,
because I do like that he is a struggling with his morality this season.
And
I guess
stubborn.
is my best. I like that this season especially, he is, again, I don't love it. Obviously, this is a bad quality to have in anyone. But I like that there is a bit of, like, misogynistic tendencies still in his bones, right? Because he is this, like, middle-aged Midwest country man that is, like, very old school. And I like that they don't just, like, wipe it away. It's like, no, these are his flaws. And in this episode in particular, I noticed it a little bit, is like he is really struggling with his views because he loves his wife and he wants what's best for his city and his whatever. But there is that still bits of it where it's like, she's getting more money than me and she got the job that I wanted. And Lois Lane, no, you're nothing. You know what I mean? And there's even the bits where like with when like Lana's kind of like dissing Morgan Edge a little bit, being like, if he doesn't see this, then that's his loss. He's stupid. It's like, hey, now let's it's like, this is your wife, man. Come on, you know what I mean? So it's like there are those bits in there where it's like deep down, he still has those tendencies, probably from his parents or his grandparents, but a character who is actively fighting to try and be a better guy, and sometimes that side wins a little bit. And I like probably that effect of Superman kind of joining his life and how that probably changes him, and being friends with Lois, and even probably what we see later on in the season. Very nice, Lance. And
Very,
like
very nice.
there's like even those hints this week, very heavy hints of like the marriage not working.
Yeah.
Of course the marriage is broken. He's out here porking other bartenders that we're going to find out about.
Hold on. That's to come.
You're getting way ahead of yourself.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I saw the writing on the wall. Kyle was not a good dude. And then if you think about it, I know we're jumping around, but I mean, come on. You meet Chrissy one day, then the next you're in her bed, or she's in your bed. Either way, you're in each other.
But like you're seeing.
Actually,
here,
no.
like,
rephrase that. I hope she wasn't in him. You know what? Go continue.
I was just gonna say, like, you have these little signs that I like. That feels like, again, I don't know how early they had this planned out for those two characters. I'm not sure.
It's planting the seeds.
It's definitely planting the seeds. Like, I think even like at the Jesus Christ.
I thought about that as soon as I said it. I'm like, I just gave him more ammo.
All I was gonna say is like having the end being like, let's not talk like let's leave Kyle out of this. It's like a healthy relationship that would not happen. You would not have to keep something that big a secret from your spouse. So it's like and just Kyle not being able to have a healthy conversation with his wife either about how he's feeling. It's just like, don't worry about it. I'm fine. You're great. Let's just move forward. When there probably should have been a, hey, let's talk about how we're feeling a bit more. Let's break this down. Why does this bother you so much? Do a bit more of that, and maybe I don't know.
That over the course of these episodes, and really the entirety of the season, that really kind of parallels how you have Clark and Lois, who they have their ups and downs. Don't get me wrong, but the relationship is so healthy because they talk things out. They get to the meat of what's going on, and they don't keep things from each other. And then you have Kyle and Lana, where the exact opposite of that happens. And they're always getting into fights. One of them ends up on the couch. And it's just, it ends up being a mess. And again, I think we've said this probably every week so far, but that's what the core of this show is about. Like, it's a family show first and a superhero show second, but that's absolutely not a problem.
Yeah.
I think, is there anything I'm missing? I don't think we missed anything.
I think
we covered. Yeah, we covered everything.
The ending a little bit, I guess. We're just like him passing out, and so we'll see where that goes, where that leads.
That beautiful shot, like I said, where Clark flies up into the sky holding him. Wow,
great,
beautiful stuff.
I like really quickly. I love the scene when they're breaking the bricks.
And
just like yeah. That's such a good scene.
And then Clark's like a happy dad, but on the opposite side of that, you have John saying, "Imagine this log is this bully's face." Clark has no problem with that whatsoever. He's just like, "Yeah, imagine the face of a guy you really want to punch." Clark just doesn't say a word. He was like,
"I wouldn't have said anything either. It worked, and it proved that he had powers."
Yeah. Man, love that.
I love
him younger being like, that's Kyle.
What?
Him as younger, that would have been Kyle. Just this guy dating my girl.
that would have been, yes.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much covers everything. This was episode 6 of the retrospective. Of course, I'm gonna have their stuff linked in the description. Lance is gonna have his mine and Darren's stuff linked in his. Maybe if Darren ever posts, he'll have our stuff linked in his.
End of the season.
End of the season. Yep. There you go. There's your little tease.
So, what do you do? Just download them all?
I download them all. I put them all in one giant thing, and it's like a It's gonna be a 15-hour video or some shit.
All right. Well, I will save that for next time I go on a road trip.
Yeah. Good TV. But
Yeah, very good TV. Good TV. Talking about good TV.
Yeah. So, guys, until next Saturday, or as HR Will says, until our next communion, have a sumptuous day.
Bye-bye.
Do you have on a shirt underneath that?
Yeah.
Oh, just I
Are
thought
you gonna
were about
end
to-
it?
thought you were about to show a little nipple.